or sorry, there would be other tests which are actually of the kind which are testing your logical understanding and your ability to communicate things. So there's a variety of things. Some are subject and some are not subject. Okay. Has anyone, now some of you have already taken competitive exams or are thinking of them. So how are you preparing for it?
Shantanu, I thought that while some may be preparing, some may not. So maybe they need a little time reflecting on this important question. Can I send them out for about 5 minutes to small teams to discuss among themselves?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay. So what we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, this is very important, but Shantanu needs to know how you think is the best way to prepare so that he can assess and give his tips and also pick up some ideas from you. So what I will do is now I'll send you to small breakout rooms for say about 6 minutes, and your role will be as follows. You will discuss what are the best ways to prepare for a competitive exam. So which means even if you have not taken any, you can still think, how should you prepare to be successful in a competitive exam now that you know the difference between a competitive exam and a school exam? And that you should nominate a team coordinator very quickly who will lead the discussion and who will note down the main points and who I will ask to present in the plenary. So all need not present. Only the one who is the coordinator should present not only his or her ideas, but others' ideas as well. Any questions? Okay, so you have 6 minutes to discuss what are some good ways to prepare for a competitive exam. Coordinator will lead discussion in the teams, note down the points for presentation in plenary. I'm sending you now. How many of you? Yeah, 22. I think we should know. Okay, 4 teams.
Yeah, 4 teams.
Yeah, now please join the teams. I will come and check to see if there are any problems. I'll set it right, technological problems. Very good. Very good. Carry on, all of you. Those who have logged in through 2 devices, that may be a problem, but we'll see.
Paula is also there.
Leslie, you can leave the room.
I'll just tell them what to do and I'll leave.
Yeah. So remember, one of you should become the coordinator. You can volunteer or be selected quickly. Don't waste time. And the volunteer should lead the discussion on the question, what are the good ways to prepare for a competitive exam? And the coordinator should take down the points for presentation when we come back. Any questions?
You write down the points, okay? You are there, Paula is there, Ekon Lumi and Asta. 4 of you. I will leave, okay?
Yeah. Okay, carry on. I'll go to some of the...
One of you will become the leader and write the points down, okay?
I'll come back later to check who's the leader.
Okay, sir.
Hello, everybody. So, Saif, Ramesh, Shaheen, please select a coordinator quickly if you haven't. Don't waste time on that.
Sir, no one is speaking.
Shaheen, are you there? Saif, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, they are there. So even if there are 2 persons, more than enough. So one of you should become the leader quickly now. Discuss on and put on your video. It'll be easier. You shouldn't be shy of your own classmates. Come on, put on your videos for yourself. Otherwise, the communication will not be very good. And then discuss. Coordinator should lead a discussion. What are the good ways to prepare for a competitive exam? And the coordinator should take down the points for presenting in the plenary. This is not an exam. This is not an evaluation. It's to help you to think. So don't worry. Enjoy yourself. You have 6 minutes. If you have any problems, ask for help. There's a help button below in the participants. You can click participants, select help. See you.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Thank you, sir.
Carry on. Okay, Darshani, Aman, Khushi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Great. So now, even if there are 2, there should be 3. Select a leader. Don't wait for everyone. Select one person to be coordinator, even if there are just 2 of you, and discuss what are the good ways to prepare for a competitive exam. Be as specific as possible, and one person, the coordinator, should note down the main ideas for presentation. You have 6 minutes. If you need help, click on participants and then click the ask for help hand. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Good.
Okay, sir.
Please start. Please use your time wisely.
Okay, sir. Darshani, can you chat?
Darshani can't hear our voice.
And those who cannot hear, you can chat. So you can write on the chat. Now be quick.
Okay, sir.
Which room am I in? Am I in your room still? Okay. Yes, what's happening? Discuss.
Yes, sir.
Why are you shy? Come on. Kushi,
Yes, sir.
Aman, what's happening? Are you all discussing?
We'll be discussing. We have to be able to learn only that subject that are for
No,
the.
don't discuss with me. Discuss amongst yourself, but I don't hear you all speaking to each other. Why? Speak with each other. Put on your videos and talk, and one of you must note down. I'm here just to observe.
Okay, sir.
Come on. Already 1 minute is gone. Aman, are you there? Aman,
Yes, sir.
what are you doing? Why are you quiet? Come on, step up. Darshani. Yes, Aman and Kushi are there. Please start talking with each other.
Yes, sir.
Don't wait for me. I'll still be around.
PSC.
UPSC and APSC?
Shantanu,
Yes,
I think you should leave, if you don't mind.
Okay. That's
You got
fine.
allotted auto randomly. If you're there, then, they'll get influenced.
Okay, so
You just click the leave button and you'll go out. The others, who's the team leader here?
there isn't really a team leader. So why
Okay,
don't
so
you
who's the
take
team leader? Select one. Come on. Bidhi, Shyam, Rohan. Who will be the team leader?
Sir, I think Shelly should be the team leader.
Okay, Shelly, you have been volunteered. You will now be the team leader. We don't have time for democratic
Okay,
discussion.
sir.
Okay, good.
Okay, sir.
Excellent. What is the question you have to discuss?
How to prepare for competitive examinations?
Very good. Excellent. Now, if possible, put on your videos. You'll have much better communication with each other. You don't need to be shy
Okay.
with your own schoolmates, but that's your
Excuse me,
choice.
sir.
Now,
Excuse
quickly
me, sir.
discuss and note down the main points. Okay, Shelly, you
Okay.
have to know you are responsible for the success of this discussion. I leave it to you. I'm leaving this room.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
I don't even know how to leave. There's some problem. Anyway, please carry on.
Okay, so please everyone switch on your video so that we can.
For a pen.
Sarlong, you asked for help?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the issue?
Sir, room number 3. Sir.
তোমাৰ লগত কোন কোন আছে? সাইফ আৰু ৰামিজ আছে।
Oh, sir.
তোমালোকে ডিসকাস কৰা যে how to prepare for competitive exams. Saif, Ramiz, are you there?
Yes, sir. We are here.
Yes,
Yes,
so
sir.
who is the coordinator for this discussion?
Sir, me, Ramiz.
Ramiz, excellent. So you are now the team leader. You have a great responsibility. Start talking.
Yes, sir.
If necessary,
Yes,
put
sir.
on your video and discuss
Yes,
and
sir.
note down the main points from your friends and from yourself. What is the best way to prepare for competitive exams? Okay?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
We expect you to come out with something good. Reputation if a school is there. Come on. I'm leaving now.
Play downstairs.
Shantanu, are you there?
Pritam,
Yeah.
you made 5 groups. There were more than 20 people, so 1 or 2 got left out.
I put them back and they're getting kicked out also.
Oh, how are
No,
they?
no one will get left out because there's random allocation. They're getting kicked out.
How's that?
No, it happens sometimes. So I had to go back and put them back. And some are very slow. They are just keeping quiet. And even amongst themselves, they're not putting on the video. I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, some of them are class 6, so they're all new to this.
Okay, good.
Like
So we're
how
taking
long
a
the
little
young
more
boy-
time than planned.
They
But
learn as we go.
They seem quite engaged, which is very nice, actually.
Yeah, some of them can be very engaged. Some of them are passively engaged. So the challenge is with them. And Shantanu, I completely forgot in my introduction to mention that you're working in the UN. So I'm going to send a message.
And it wasn't Stanford, it was Princeton. I think Princeton is a better university. But
Why did you correct me, stupid guy? You should have corrected me. I'll correct. I'll put a note.
Yeah, but in the bio he said it was Princeton.
Then should I write that, by the way, I made a mistake. He was in Princeton and Shantanu says Princeton is better than Stanford. Should I write?
Yeah, you should write. You should write.
Yeah, Princeton is top notch. So is Stanford, you know, very good.
yeah, I think Princeton is a little bit unusual in one sense, which is that they made a conscious decision not to have a business school or a law school or a medical school or anything like that.
Okay.
Because normally in a big university, these things draw a lot of power and money and so on.
Okay.
So it's not that Princeton doesn't have money, it has a lot of money. But they basically, in the graduate school side, they made a decision to just focus on the academic side without these attention getters. So that makes it a little bit different.
Mark Zuckerberg was in Stanford, is it?
Who's that? Mark?
Mark Zuckerberg?
Mark was in Harvard.
Oh, Harvard, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's changing the dynamics of WhatsApp.
Yes.
Many
I
people
see
seem
this.
to want to go to Signal. Bikram today told me you better install Signal. I said I already have.
I already
Your
have it.
Concon.
Oh, Concon, you came in late.
Okay, I'm going to send him.
Yeah, send him to a group.
Sir, I went for a picnic, that's why.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. You're still there.
But why
All
is
of
he
you
still there?
decide.
I sent him. Go and join the room, Concon.
How was the picnic?
No, I think it's gone.
Yeah. But who's Anuspita?
Must be an old student. Anuspita not joined. Now she's joined.
No, I've also asked students from other schools to join. I mean, I told my students to invite their friends. So maybe she's from some other school, college, whatever.
Oh, I
So
can
it's quite
see that most
interesting.
people-
I found only one person talking about JEE, but they're talking about all kinds of other examinations, including SAT, ACT, and so on, which are, basically for going abroad.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, I expected someone to come up with JEE, but nobody did. Peter, you're muted.
That's surprising. With so much of pressure in India to join medical or engineering, I think things are changing then. I've given them 3 minutes. It's now 2 minutes. Let us see, and then I'll close. Why are they
So
coming-
Pritham, you will ask the kids to speak up from the perspective of their groups?
Yeah, I will. I will ask each team moderator to come in and say something. Earlier, we used to send them to breakout rooms and we used to find that they come back and many of them say nothing at all. Then we realized we must give responsibility to someone. Puts a little bit of accountability, and then it improves. Let us see how it goes. Most of them are now used to Zoom. I don't know if they used to breakout rooms, but they used to Zoom because Leslie has online classes for them.
Yes, I thought that telephone fundraiser was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you know about that? You know about that?
Yeah, I chipped in a bit.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much.
No one was spared.
Okay. Everyone who knew the Fukens were caught.
And also the Matthews.
Yeah.
Let me go and
saw
see
the
the
whole
room
world.
once again.
Economy is out.
I don't know. I'm a bit lost. I used to join the room so easily. Nowadays, I'm having difficulty. I don't see the join anymore. What's happening?
I can only join one room.
No, from there you can move to other rooms, your co-host.
No, I'm not
having
host.
difficulty joining
the
any
problem
room.
is, okay, where I am host, my daughter is using that phone and I am on the desktop.
Have you become a host again?
No, I see there are two of
Yeah.
my daughter is using my phone and I'm using the desktop. The account is the same.
So which one is Leslie Guest?
Leslie Guest is me, I think. Leslie
Okay, I'll
Matthew.
make you co-host.
Yeah, Leslie, yeah. Now you're co-host. Yeah, now I'm co-host. But it still says you have been assigned to breakout room 1.
Yeah, you are assigned. You don't have to join. You will be assigned.
So I can't join the others.
No. Once you join, and then you can move from there to other rooms. So you could do that. That slight difference between host and co-host. But now co-host himself is having serious problem joining. I don't see the join option anymore. Leslie, can you go and check the rooms?
Alpana, can you hear me? Oh, she does it.
Okay, I'm giving them 1 minute. Okay, I'm closing breakout rooms now. Strange, Leslie. মই join কৰিব পৰা নাই rooms বোৰ আগতে সুন্দৰকৈ join button এটা আছিলে কি হ'ল? This is very strange. Okay, welcome back.
We lost quite a lot of them.
No, they're coming back.
Oh, okay.
Room will close in 15 seconds. Some people, when they feel they get the pressure, they leave. But that's okay. If they can't take this much pressure, they might as well leave. Okay. So we have 18 participants now. Welcome back, everybody. Are you there?
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
I see many have left. That's okay. Those who are interested can stay back. Excellent. So room number 1. Who was the coordinator? Please, will you present your points?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Abhirup, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Sir, we can prepare for how can we prepare for a competitive exam, sir? While preparing for a competitive exam, we should understand the topics well and we should be confident, sir.
Okay. So I hear 2 points
Sir,
there. You should understand the topic well, and secondly, you should be confident. Any more?
Yes, sir. So yes, sir. And we should know about the current affairs and take part in quizzes.
Very good. Know about
Sir,
current
and
affairs. That's 3rd point. 4th point, take part in quizzes. Okay.
sir, yes, we should give our best and never give up, and we should be aware of our surroundings and happenings.
Very good. Never give up and aware of your surroundings. Excellent. We stop you there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Very good work, team number 1. Excellent. And coordinator also. Team number 2.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, who's that?
Sir, it's me, Ramiz Akhtar.
Excellent, Ramiz. Please come forward with your points. Even if they're the same, doesn't matter.
Okay, sir. Sir, we should keep us updated with the current affairs.
Excellent.
And sir, we should start our presentations first by knowing our own state, own culture, and that is like having an overview of our own community and geography.
Very good. Okay.
And sir, sir, it's not sir, it should not be limited with this, sir. We should sir, like we should also have a wider range of knowledge, like sir, we should know about the international level. And
yes, so you are saying we should be aware of our own community and geography, but we should also know about a wider area.
Yes, sir.
National,
Yes, sir,
international knowledge should be
yes,
there.
Sir.
Very good. What else?
Sir, we should be confident.
Confident. Very good. Anything more on your list? Don't think new thing, just from your list.
Yes. Sir,
Okay.
no, sir.
Yeah. Yes? Go on, Ramiz. Okay.
Sir.
Thank you, team number 2. Thank you, Ramiz. Very good. What
Thank you,
about
sir.
team number 3? Who's the coordinator for team 3?
Yes, sir.
Who's that?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, me Khushi.
Very good, Kushi. Always say your name because I can't see you. So when you say yes, I don't know who it is. Kushi,
Okay,
thank
sir.
you very much.
Sir, my first point is we must make our mind stable and we should not be panic and make the decisions quickly.
Okay, so we should be stable, not panicky. And secondly, we should not make decisions quickly. No hasty decisions. Very
yes,
good.
sir. We must utilize our time in solving riddles, in observing the questions.
Very good.
We must study different books of different writers of that subject which we had to appear in competitive exams.
Very good. Writers, different writers on the same subject. Excellent. What more?
And
don't think, only what is on your list. If it's finished, tell me it's over.
Sir, it's over.
Very good, Kushi. Team number 4 and the team. Yes, team number 4.
So this is Shelly.
Shelly, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Please.
So firstly, we should know the syllabus and pattern of the exam.
Excellent syllabus and pattern of the exam. Yes.
Yeah. And we should eliminate all the exam-related stress. Thirdly,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thirdly, we should make a timetable and we should follow it.
Okay.
Fourthly,
timetable for what? For preparing?
Yeah, for preparing.
Okay, very good.
Schedule. And fourthly, we should be disciplined, sincere. Only then we will be able to follow the timetable.
Yes,
and we'll be
yes,
able to prepare for the examination.
very
Thirdly, we
good.
can go, yeah, and we should keep reading every day.
Reading what?
This reading books, novels, it will help in building our vocabulary.
Okay,
And
okay.
we can go to tutors, we can have online learning, this
Yeah,
is free of cost, so it
yes.
will, yeah.
So take
So
advantage of online resources
yeah,
available free. Okay, good.
yeah, get some guides or reference, or join some coaching institutes.
Join coaching institutes. Okay.
Yeah, and we should take care of our diet. We should be healthy, then only we'll have a great power of focus or concentration, I mean.
Okay, a good
Yeah,
diet, very good to focus
yeah,
and keep physically and mentally fit. Thank you, Shelly.
yeah.
Those are very good points from your team, just like the
Thank you.
others. Now, the last team, am I correct? Team number 5? Was there a team? No, there were only 4 teams. So thank you so much. We very much appreciate. I know that the coordinators are presented, but I know the coordinators have got points from the other team members. So we congratulate all the team members for thinking independently. Now over to you, Shantanu.
Thank you, Pritam. Thank you, everybody. These are all great points, excellent ones. And so my own list is pretty much finished. So let me just give you a few practical tips, which some of you know already. Essentially, when you're preparing for a competitive exam or any kind of competition, you have to manage 3 things, okay? The first thing is that you have to manage your time. So managing your time means look at the date on which the examination will be held and work back from that. So if your examination that you're preparing for is going to be held in, let us say, July 2022, you should prepare your timetable or calendar saying that you will be fully prepared in July 2022, and then start working back from that. So your first revision has to be completed by such and such date, your second revision by such and such date, and so on up to where you're now, so that you are not saying that I will do A tomorrow and B tomorrow without a long-term plan. So the long-term plan is that in July 2022, you're ready for the exam. And then you have given yourself time to revise, working back from that, okay? So once you work back from what your end goal is, you know the way to go. So this is the sort of the longer term plan to the exam. The next point, I think all of you know already, that you also need a time management aspect for your weekly or monthly objectives. Right? And so here you need some kind of goals that you will achieve, but be very realistic, because it is very depressing if you set a goal which is very ambitious and don't meet the goal. And then next week you start already panicking, saying that I couldn't achieve everything I wanted to do. So be realistic in how much time you can put and how much time you will be needing for the specific topics. So set a weekly goal and a monthly goal, which is realistic. So the first aspect, therefore, is managing your time. So a competitive exam is like a marathon, okay, or a long distance race. It's not a sprint. So you have to manage your time so that you're being consistent, studying at a steady rate over this period. And many of you said that, I don't know if anyone said it actually, but I think very important right now is also to cut out distractions when you're studying, okay? So no WhatsApp, no Twitter, no Facebook while you're studying. Absolutely not. All right. And even when you're not studying, don't get too involved in some very hot button political issues that are going on right now, not to the extent that it distracts you when you get down to study. Okay. So this is the part which I say is managing the time. The second thing you have to manage is managing the work. So some people mentioned already that you have to understand the topics, you have to look at current affairs, you have to study different books. All of these are very important when you manage your work. One simple starting point is that compare the syllabus for the competitive exam or the topics you'll be asked about with the syllabus of what you're already studying in school, so that you have a sense of where you will need to put in more effort or where your school preparation may already give you a starting point. So be very clear about what the topics will be. And for a competitive exam, remember you're competing against the whole world. So you cannot leave any topic in the syllabus out. I remember from my own time, and I think people were casual in school and college also, people would say, okay, there are 6 topics in the physics syllabus. I'm going to study 5, and that will be enough for me to pass. But you cannot actually adopt this approach when you're studying a competitive exam. You have to be confident in every topic in the syllabus. And therefore, you yourself know which is your strong point, which is your weak point. If you need more time on a particular topic, when you're managing your time, give more time to yourself for where you will need to work more. If there is a topic which is outside your school syllabus, you will need to start preparing early, give yourself more time. So understanding the syllabus and giving yourself enough time to be prepared in all topics is important. Okay. Someone mentioned that you should study different authors. I think this is a very important point. But how should you study different authors? The first part, of course, is selecting the different writers. So you should select standard sources. I think your school teachers and others would be able to guide you on who are the standard references. They should be able to bring different perspectives, but then it is your job to connect these different perspectives together. And so when you study different authors and you make your notes, part of your job in making these notes is to be able to connect the different points of view so that it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, you will remember it better. So also when you think about current affairs, go to reputable sources, go to newspapers with editorial pages like the Hindu or the Indian Express, where they are talking about many different perspectives and giving you a global overview. So just like for books, for academic topics, for current affairs also, go to a variety of sources so that you have a good overall picture. Again, in terms of managing your work, apart from the syllabus, apart from the sources you will use, all of you know that a very important part is getting the question papers or the kind of questions that you will be asked and practicing. You should practice with these questions over and over, and the more resources you have in terms of finding different questions, the better it is. Some of these resources are online. So something like Khan Academy, have people heard of Khan Academy? Khan Academy is excellent, very focused, very authoritative. Just like you need quality control with your books and newspapers, you also need quality control with resources that are online. So go with the more reputed and organized resources and keep doing a variety of questions. Some questions will be multiple choice type, some questions will be shorter answer type, particularly in, well, not just in the sciences, but also in the humanities and other subjects. A lot of these questions will ask you to solve problems or to apply something you know, not just a fact. So make sure you're getting enough practice in these kind of questions which ask you to apply, not solve a problem or apply something, not just a fact. Okay, so that's managing your time, managing your work. Pritam, you've taken a lot of competitive exams. Before I come to the last point, which I think you will be an expert on, anything you want to share, Leslie, anyone else on these two aspects, like managing your time, managing your work?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the one thing that really helped me was what you have already mentioned. Tremendous discipline. That is one. Second is working very hard. I mean, you are responsible for your life. No one is going to look over your shoulder whether you're studying or not. Your parents will not help. No one. You have to work very hard. And thirdly, what I found really useful is surround myself with people who are seriously taking the same competitive exams. For example, had I taken this exam, maybe had I not taken it in Delhi, I don't think I would have done as well as I did. Because around me were people so thoroughly prepared that it A, motivated me, 2, prevented me from being lax, and 3, I could meaningfully share knowledge with them. That was very useful. So nothing new really what I'm saying, but those are the ones that help me. Thank you, Shantanu.
So my third thing is, we spoke about managing your time, managing your work. I think the most important thing is managing your mind. Okay. So we heard some of you saying, don't panic, eliminate stress, don't give up, be confident. Yes, these are all important. How are you going to achieve these things in practice? The first point is, have friends, make time for your normal social interaction and your normal interests, okay? All of these things don't have to be put on one side while you're studying for a competitive exam. Competitive exam and studies are going to be important, but maintain these other things too, okay? Because these are the things which will give you a break, which will help you relax, help you accept that there is a bigger world outside the exam. So that is part of the strategy for managing your mind. The second part I would say is, people have said already, make sure you're sleeping well, make sure you're getting enough exercise, getting enough rest. All of these things, I think we all live in families. We're lucky to be in families with parents and others who will support us, and many of these things we take for granted. So this will perhaps become more important when you move away from your family, but these are also important to keep in mind. The third point is that I want to say is that be positive in the sense that you're working for your own objective here. But when you're with friends, when you're with others, also feel free to share. Also be helpful. And it is in the nature of competition that sometimes one friend will do better than you. And sometimes one friend will get into and pass an examination that you were also very interested in, but you will not. So don't be down, don't be put down by that. Everyone has the opportunity, and the chance will always be there, if not in that examination or then in another one. I myself have succeeded sometimes in the second or third attempt. So be happy when other people succeed as well, and it will help you because they will also give you the guidance, and they will also like to be in your company and share their insights with you. So it is a two-way street. So if you manage your work, manage your time, and manage your mind, there'll be absolutely no reason why you cannot succeed. Keep a number of options open before you and try for several things, not because that is also helpful in getting through somewhere. And last thing I would say before I hand it back to Preetham, Leslie, and all of you, some of my most successful friends in life actually didn't do so well in competitive exams. One of my very good friends in school now runs one of the biggest tourism companies in India, but he didn't do so well in competitive exams. Another friend of mine is now a top scientist, but he wasn't interested in, he became a scientist because he was not doing well in competitive exams. He just kept studying on the scientific things he was interested in and is now a top professor in the US. So don't give up. Don't think the competitive exam is the be all and end all. There will be many opportunities for you. All of you are coming from good families with good background, and you will succeed. So with that, it's over to you, Preetham, over to you, Leslie. Thank you so much. I'm here if you want to ask me anything. Over.
Fantastic. So before I make any comments, you all have made very, very good contributions to how to prepare. So many of you are already on track. At the same time, you have heard in a very structured way some of the key strategies and issues that you need to take care of from Shantanu's perspective. So any questions, any comments, any clarifications from you? This is your time now to ask or to comment. Maybe I should ask Shelley to come in first because you're already in the process of preparing for competitive exams. Do you have any reflections or thoughts on what you just heard from Shantanu and from your other friends?
Sir, I agree with Shantanu, sir. Whatever he said, yeah, it's really needed. What I want to know is, I heard that we need to go for AP and IB courses for college admissions. So is it really necessary?
What is this AP
Along
and
with,
Shantanu, are you aware of it? Since you live in New York now, I'm not sure.
Yes, I'm aware of it.
Okay.
so is it really necessary along with SAT? Like Harvard and Stanford do require. Harvard, Stanford, Purdue, all this Ivy League schools, they do require. So I just want to know the other universities.
Okay, so Pritam, shall we take a few more questions or suggestions?
As you wish. Yeah, we can take a few more together. That's excellent. Okay, great idea. Okay, we are noting that. Shelly, he'll respond. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah,
Sir,
anybody
is
else?
it really necessary to join coaching classes for like to come to give competitive exams?
Very good, very good. They cost a lot of money. That's a very good question.
Yes, very, yeah.
Very good. Any other? Leslie, you wanted to ask a question? You are muted.
If anybody else wants to go ahead and ask something, they should go ahead now.
Yeah.
Ramiz, Abirup, the younger ones, Tiara, if you're there.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes, Sham.
How to prepare for UPSC?
Okay. Very good. Anyone else? Please feel free. Shantanu will not come back easily.
Hello, sir. I'm Alvin.
Yes.
I want to know how to prepare for NEET and without coaching and all.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And who's that? Two of you are together, I think. Who's that? Anyone else?
Alpana and Alvin are sisters. They stay together.
I have one question, Shantanu. I said that, had I not been to Delhi, it would have been very difficult for me. And in fact, once I got the INDAS, I tried a second time for the IAS in Guwahati and my results were very hopeless. So that can be discouraging, but there are people who have done very well even from the northeastern states. So just wondering, in an environment where not many people are really preparing seriously for competitive exams, like I saw in Delhi, it was crazy. What suggestions would you give? Because everyone will not go to Delhi to study, They'll have to make do from wherever they are. And Nagain may not produce that many people who are really seriously competitive. I mean, if they join.
Or maybe the atmosphere is not there in Nagain,
Yeah, the atmosphere is not there. How do you discipline and how do you get the resources? How do you prepare? Anyone else? Leslie, from your perspective, any question?
Not really. Let it come from them.
So Shantanu, maybe we can take those and you can also write on the chat. I see some chat coming up. I'll have a look while Shantanu is responding.
Okay, so I think at least in this group, everyone is actually pretty motivated and interested in studying. So let me answer a few of the things from my own perspective. Different people have different experiences, but I'll share with you my perspective on a few things. First of all, is it necessary to join a coaching class? My answer to this is no, it is not necessary. But even if you joined a good coaching institute, your result depended on what you brought to it. No one can prepare you for a competitive exam as well as you can prepare yourself. So if you're in a position to go to a coaching institute, ask yourself, what will the coaching institute give me that my own preparation will not, and make the most of it. If you're not in a position to go to a coaching institute or you don't have a good one near, it is much better to recognize that, okay, I will not go to a coaching institute, but therefore it means that I will still need to have my own way of getting resources. By resources, I don't mean money, I mean questions and training materials. I will contact my teachers, my friends, people who have already passed this exam or have studied for it, to see if they can share with me old question papers, to see if they can share with me some of the books they used so that I can get hold of them. I will join libraries. I will have a list of reputable online things like Khan Academy where I can find information. So make that for yourself. I would think many of the Khan Academy lectures, for example, are actually better than some of the coaching institute lectures you will get. One thing coaching institutes give you is actual practice on how to take the exam. But this you can do for yourself. Find a quiet place. Tell yourself this is a 30-minute test. I will not make it 31 minutes or 32 minutes. I will take it and I will grade myself and I will see how I've done in the exams. I think if you make sure that you are getting this kind of training for yourself, then you are actually, it is not necessary to go to a coaching institute. Many of the successful people I know, whether it is in the IAS exam or other exams, have all done this. And for several other examinations like the JEE or the NET and so on, it is also possible to find the test question papers which coaching institutes themselves set, available through friends or in books or in other places. So get hold of these. And the biggest advantage of a coaching institute is being able to take the examination in a proper exam-like setting, reproduce that for yourself. One other thing, of course, is that you should have some people you can approach for help if needed. This is another place where coaching institutes are useful, of course. So whether this is your professor, whether this is your teacher, whether this is a friend, whether it's a study group with which you work, just make sure you have this infrastructure in place for yourself. And if you do, I think you'll be able to dispense with a coaching institute.
Shantanu, 2 comments.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, you used to get your answers graded by professors and all, if I'm not mistaken, to get feedback.
Me?
Yeah, did you do that?
No.
You said that you had written out the question. No, okay. Secondly, what I just heard from you, I think that's a very powerful technique. Create study groups. So if in your town you find people who are taking the same kind of computer exam, you make a study group to study. I think that can be very motivating and also very powerful in exchanging knowledge. I don't know if you mentioned that. Were you also part of a study group? I was, of course, staying in the same place in Mall Road.
So yes, so I think the study group is an important thing, especially you raised this point about whether people need to go outside where they're growing up or go to Delhi or something to study. I think a study group in your own place where you are is important. And then, of course, some of the opportunities you have of interacting with other students outside your own area will also be helpful. But essentially, you have to create a group of people who think like you and are preparing like you. So I think all of these will reduce the need for joining a coaching institute or for feeling that you're not being well prepared. You should also recognize that coaching institutes are, you only hear of the people who succeed at coaching institutes. You don't hear of the hundreds of students who join the coaching institutes and don't succeed, right? Coaching institutes are businesses. Each coaching institute may advertise in the paper that they had put through 10 students that year in UPSC, not 20 maybe. But obviously, if they were only teaching 10 or 20 students, their business would not work, right? So they're actually teaching 200, 500, 1,000 students. And they're not mentioning the 990 who did not succeed, right? So coaching institutes, when they publish their results, they are just putting a really good face. I'm not saying that they don't do hard work, they do, but you can get the same result by putting in your own effort. So don't be too dazzled by the coaching institute, okay? All right. Now, the next thing that was asked is about the AP and the IB. So this is a question specific to admissions in US universities. As far as I know, these courses are not mandatory or essential. So these are advanced courses, okay? So you have so you have a standard course in, let us say, biology, but then you also have an AP, which stands for Advanced Placement, or IB, which stands for International Baccalaureate course, which you can take and you can establish yourself. So these are, as far as I know, not essential for admission. And from what I know of the US system, having studied in it myself at various points, the universities are very open to recognizing that not all the students have the same kind of opportunity for taking these courses. But therefore, it is quite important when you apply abroad to do very well in the things which they ask for sure. So like the ACT exam or the SAT exam or the GRE exam or the TOEFL exam, because this will be something that all the students do. So you have to do very well in these. You need to have good letters from your professors or teachers. And I think quite importantly, you need to show somehow, especially if you're applying to undergraduate college, that you're involved in other things as well, not just your academics. US universities do like to take people who show interest outside their work, outside their studies. And the reason for that is two. First, they want to see that you're able to manage your time. So if you are only studying, then it is a sign to the university that you may be doing very well on the academic side, but you haven't really learned how to manage your time and do other things at which you will also succeed. And so it is a sign that in the pressure of the university in the US, you may not do so well. So this is one. And the second thing is they want to know that you are passionate about something. And you could be passionate about something in academics itself. And you can show that by saying that, okay, I took part in the mathematics Olympiad or something like that. Or when I was in school, I wrote this essay which won a national prize. So that way you do show your passion for something. But again, in a US university, they're trying to see that when you are there, you will channel your energy in some direction, which will make you a credit to that university. Okay. So I think if you present an application to a US university where you show that you're doing well on the standardized score, so you can deal with the academic environment in the university, you're getting good recommendations which are very concrete. Not some, sometimes professors and teachers in India don't know how to write a good letter of recommendation. And they might say something like, Pritham has been a great student and I wish him all success in life and I'm sure he will do well. This is a useless recommendation because it doesn't tell the university anything about who you are and how you approach things. So you have to approach a professor who will write a recommendation which will be honest. They cannot say he's the best student I've ever taught if he is not. But it will show the university that this professor knows the student well and is able to say something which helps bring the student to life on the paper. So that's the second part of your application. And the third part of your application, of course, apart from your school results and marks and everything, which should all be good, is to try and show that you have done well in something outside of your pure studies. Okay, just to show that you can manage the time and then you have a passion for something. Now, not all universities ask for all of these things, but the more you have on these sides, the better balance there will be. And if you're really interested in studying abroad, then you should definitely apply to a range of universities. Don't apply to just the Princeton, Harvard, Stanford, MIT. Apply to a broader range and see, because a lot of it is also luck, right? So the year in which so for example, I have known of cases where a student applies in a particular year, and in that particular year, the Harvard has many applications on the same subject as that student. The university is trying to get a balanced group of students together. So unfortunately, the student does not succeed that well. On the other hand, there is a particular year in which Harvard is thinking that we really need some students who can talk about Middle East or who can talk about indigenous groups. And so that year, a student who may not be academically terribly strong, but shows an interest in these areas gets picked. But you cannot predict that. So that's the question of luck. So you should apply to many different places if you're going to study abroad. Take the best one you can, work hard at it, and it will open doors for you. So don't worry if you didn't get into Harvard. You can get into another university and be just as successful, even more successful than at Harvard. So if you're applying abroad, I would say that. For UPSC studies, there is going to be, sorry, I was just looking at the chat box. So for UPSC studies, there is going to be, I think for UPSC, in addition to what I said earlier, which was about managing your time, managing your work, and so on, I'm not fully familiar with the arrangement of UPSC now, but I think it is still several stages, right? So I think you have to prepare to succeed at each stage. There's a prelim exam, there's a main exam, and there's the interview. So when you're in your longer term time planning, that is very important, number one. Number two, element of luck in UPSC is probably more than anywhere else. So always have a plan B or another option to UPSC. Don't make this your only option. It's very easy to get frustrated. Be prepared that it will take, as Pritam himself said, 2 attempts. I also had 2 attempts. I have known of people who have, in my time, you were allowed 3 attempts. I have a very good friend and someone quite famous, actually, whom perhaps some of you will know, who totally failed in the first 2 attempts, did not get even the interview. But on the 3rd attempt, got selected to the IAS with a very high rank. So, so that's what I mean. There's an element of luck. You have to be prepared for the long haul, but make sure there are other things there. And I think it's very important in UPSC to select your subjects well. So in my time, apart from the general studies, language, and so on, you have to select 2 subjects, which you have to master at the bachelor's level. So select your subjects well. One of these should certainly be the subject in which you've done your undergraduate degree or your master's degree. And for the other one, be strategic. It has to be something where you feel you can do well. So it should not be something just because it gets high marks. Like in my time, a lot of people would take Sanskrit because Sanskrit gave high marks apparently. But I would never have been able to take Sanskrit properly because I'm not so good at languages. So choose something which you'll be prepared to study for at least a year without getting frustrated or giving up. So that is quite important in terms of choosing subjects for the UPSC. And then, of course, in terms of resources, finding the right kind of books, etc. I think people who are working on these areas right now, maybe Sanjay, when he speaks to you later, will be able to give more insight. Okay, I've already spoken quite a lot.
No, but have you answered all the questions?
I think there was a question about
NEET. Do you have anything to say on that? NEET, how to prepare?
I don't know much about NEET, but I think it's the entrance exam for medical, right? So someone who's working on this may be able to answer more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Pritam,
yeah.
You talked about study groups. Maybe some of the younger ones really don't know what a study group is. Could you just elaborate for that?
Yeah, Shantanu, maybe you're the best person to do that. No, you're muted.
Okay, all right. So a study group is just a group of friends who study together towards the same syllabus. Okay, so let us say you are already maybe talking to, suppose you're studying something in chemistry or something like that, right? And you don't understand how a particular formula is working, so you ask your teacher. Now your teacher, it is part of the syllabus, the teachers may help you, But it may also be that the teacher is very busy and is not able to explain to you in great detail. So this is where a study group comes in. So you have a group of a few friends who are studying the same subjects together. And so you can say that, all right, here is this, I have not fully understood how to balance the equation, let us say in chemistry, right? Then there's someone who is there, who will work, who in your group, who knows how to do it, and they will show you, and then you try it and you have a problem, you go to that person. Then in turn, this person says that, I don't understand how this simple interest formula works or the compound interest works, and you know that. So you are able to help. So a study group is people who study together. Sometimes it can be for a competitive examination. So you're studying according to the same syllabus. You can share some questions. You can do the problems in the same environment. And then you can learn from each other. Person says, okay, I see that I got the answer wrong, but I don't know how to do it. Someone else teaches you. So a study group is a good way to share your knowledge and learning with each other in a more relaxed environment than asking your teacher. Sometimes you may feel shy about asking your teacher. Your teacher may be too busy. You're not joined a coaching class, but you have a group of friends. Many minds are greater than one. One important part of a study group, a simple one, is that all of you in the group must be motivated. Okay, like I said, you should be prepared that study group is only to help you with your difficulties, but you have to put in your own effort.
And I also found study group to be very motivating. So sometimes it was a check on me. I'm generally a very confident person, ladies and gentlemen, but confidence is not necessarily equal to capacity. So when I saw my colleagues together, their level of preparation, suddenly I realized, oh, I'm confident, but I haven't prepared many things. So it motivated rather than demotivated, motivated me to be sharper and more careful. And also someone mentioned discipline. It helps if the study group decides that they will meet so many times a week. It's a discipline, then you have to go. I mean, you're expected to go. You'll be motivated to go. So it also promotes discipline. So knowledge sharing, helping each other, making sure that you have a minimum level of preparation, provided, of course, your other colleagues, as Shantanu says, are equally motivated. And thirdly, disciplines you also. So don't use study groups only for competitive exams. You could do study groups also for your school exams. You'll also build friendship in the process. Leslie, is that okay? You have something to add on that study group?
That's good. That's good. If some of the kids want to ask ask something else about it, they can do so.
So thank you, Shantanu. I think you have responded to all the questions except NEET, but then a person cannot know the details of each competitive exam. It's not possible. In fact, initially Shantanu told me, I don't think I can talk about the UPSC. It was a long time back. I said, no, we're not talking about the rules and regulations about it and what kind of questions specifically come, but your overall strategies for competing. And that's what he has done. I believe you have found it useful. I don't know, but I found it very, very useful. So I had been taking notes. So please allow me to summarize what I have picked up, and Shantanu and others, if I have missed anything, please do let me know if I missed out, because I can then send these notes over to Leslie and he can share it with you. First of all, what I heard from Shantanu is that in general, for any competitive exam, you need to have 4 areas of knowledge and skills. 3 are mandatory and 1 may depend on the nature of the exam. 1, you need to have a broad awareness and knowledge of general knowledge. So that is not something you start doing after you pass your graduation or class 12. You should start doing from now, class 6. Get interested in what is happening. Read good newspapers, listen to good news, all those kind of things, so that you're constantly aware of the developments around the world. Second, develop your logical skills. Again, this you don't need to wait till you take a competitive exam. Logical skills will help you even in your work now. So how do you do it? Do logical puzzles, as he said. Get an interest in doing those things. Someone mentioned Sudoku. What's it? Sudo? I've never done a Sudoku. What's it, Shantanu?
Sir, Sudoku.
Sudoku, yeah. Then the third is, one minute. Read broadly to improve your language in which you're going to take the exam, because questions can be put in a very confusing way sometimes, deliberately to check whether you've understood the question well. In fact, one brilliant person told me, he has spoken to you, APD, the one who spoke on why learn history. One of the reasons he had a very active social life and yet topped the university every time was because he said he spent a lot of time reading the question carefully, so that he understood the question so well that he knew what the examiner wanted, not everything under the sun. That was one of his tricks. So that you can do if you are good in your language. And the fourth, of course, if there's specific subjects in a requirement, you'll have to, like when I took the insurance, there was no specific subject. But when it's civil service or engineering or medical, there'll be specific subject. So these are the areas in which you need to have knowledge and skills. And the first three, general knowledge, logical skills, confusing language, you can start developing it right from now, whether you're in class 6 or you're in class 10 or 11. Then about strategies, he talked about three areas. Three areas. One, manage your time. I'll come to the detail. Second, manage your work. And thirdly, manage your mind. You all have all contributed to this, but he structured it very beautifully. And when things are structured well, it is easy to understand and it's easy to remember. That's a very powerful habit of learning also. So what does he say? What did I hear him say about managing your time? Know the exam date and work backwards to set your timetable. So a UPSC exam, for example, will necessarily require at least 1 year of preparation, unless you're one of those super brilliant ones, 1 year minimum. So work backwards to set your timetable. When should you start preparation? Secondly, set goals. Goal setting is very powerful, what I heard from Shantanu. And not just the goal that I will succeed in the UPSC exam coming 1 year later on the joint. No, weekly and monthly goals, he says. So he was obviously extremely disciplined. I didn't do that. And I think that's one of the reasons he's done so much better than I did. Set weekly and monthly goals. And he says, be realistic. But I would like to add, don't be so realistic, it's too easy. Then it's not good enough. You have to have some element of ambition, which means you will at times not meet your goals in spite of your best effort. That will show you that, yes, I'm working towards a slightly higher level of capacity. But at the same time, be realistic. Not all of them you should fail to achieve, then you'll get discouraged. Then next is avoid distractions. And now with these phones, you've been given phones under the funding. It can cut both ways. You can also get very distracted. WhatsApp messages, ping, LinkedIn, ping, Facebook, ping. Put those away when you're studying. And interesting point, Shantanu said, that even when you're not studying, don't get too involved in matters which are not related to your goals. So excessive discussion of what is happening in USA, Donald Trump, I can do that. I don't need to take exams now. But if you all get too much involved, that will play on your mind when you're studying. It will distract you. That is something very new I heard, and I really appreciate that. Then regarding managing your work, do not, like some students do, study a few topics based on pattern of questions coming earlier. No. He says, study all the topics required in the syllabus and study them well. Be thoroughly prepared. In fact, I would say even for your school, please avoid studying based on earlier questions. That is not education. That is cracking an exam. Cracking an exam is not good enough. You must be good in your subject. So develop this habit now. Study everything that is within your syllabus. And then you will get the same habit when you prepare for competitive exams. Then secondly, study from, as one participant said, study from different authors. But he adds on, study from different authors who are reputable, not anyone and everyone, especially now with the internet. You can get so much of information, but can you be sure they're all reliable? No. So for example, he gives one example, Online Khan Academy, very reliable. Then good newspapers. I won't take a name, it might be like promoting one, but newspapers which are reliable, known for their journalism, those kind of, and reliable books. So you might find that.
Take a name.
Yeah, yes.
Because most newspapers today are biased this way or the other way.
Very much so.
I think you should go with the Hindu. It is very, very balanced. I think so. That's my personal opinion.
Shantanu also mentioned that, in fact, that's an interesting thought. And that brings me to the second aspect. Even though they write differently, what Shantanu says, different authors or different newspapers or different books will write in different, will deal with the subject matter differently. What Shantanu has highlighted is, it's not enough to just mug up what they have said. You must be able to connect their perspective. That will make your learning strong. That will develop your concepts. So when you read different perspectives, think, how are they related? How are they adding value to the subject matter? Reflect on it. Don't just read up, make your notes, and that's it. I've read 10 books. No, that will not serve your purpose. Then join, this came up later, join or create study groups. If there are no study groups, you take the lead in creating a study group. Hey, you are taking the bank exam, I'm taking, let's form a group. Let's meet twice a week and we'll study this and see how we are, what are your goals? How well are we progressing? What are your difficulties? Can I help you here? You help me there. Very powerful. And you can do that also for your school exam. Those of you taking board exams or even your class 6 exam. You want to excel every time, right? You can do it now. Then practice the problem. Of course, we said that don't study only problem, but you have to, it's a good idea to look at old question papers also, in addition to knowing all the subjects, because that will help you know whether you have studied enough. Practice them over and over again. Don't be satisfied only one time practice, and look at the solutions of others. As I said, if necessary, get the help of others to help you. If there's a teacher who's very good helping you, show them, is my answer good enough? Because you don't know who's going to correct your question papers in the competitive exams. So take help of others if necessary to grade and get feedback. And don't be sad with negative feedback. If every time they say you're doing brilliant, fantastic, 100%, maybe they're bluffing. They just want to keep you happy. That's no good. So you should be ready to get negative feedback that these are the areas you need to improve. Then practice different type of questions, Shantanu says, not just essay type, not just multiple choice, different types. Because exam, for example, UPSC, the first round, the prelims is most all multiple choice. I think so, at least when I took it. Then essay type. So you should be good at both. And they require different strategies. And in some, you have negative marking for multiple choice. Some you don't have negative, which means they allow you to guess. Then guess. Where there's negative, you have to be more careful. Okay. Then joining coaching institute, as Shantanu says, is not necessary. And I would say the same. I also didn't join a coaching institute. Shantanu, I don't think, joined a coaching institute. Sanjay, who came 7th, didn't join. Pawan didn't join, as far as I know. I'm not mistaken. Many haven't joined. That doesn't mean that those who have joined have not done well. But there are advantages, as Shantanu in a very balanced manner has pointed out. You get access to resources. You get access to having mock exams in an appropriate environment. There are advantages. So he's not saying don't join, but don't be discouraged if for any reason you are not able to join. And also something very important, he said, don't be dazzled by the advertisements. You'll see so many passed the JEE from our institute, 20 passed, but maybe 1,000 students, as he said. So don't get carried away. There are business institutes who want to promote they're doing well, not necessary. And out of those 20 who succeeded, maybe many of them would have gotten anyway without having joined the institute. So while it is their advantages, don't be too carried away by the need to join and be depressed if your parents cannot afford that you join a coaching institute. Then he says, select your subjects well in those exams where subjects are required. For example, I took sociology, which was my master's topic, and I took psychology, completely new. I didn't take economics. I was economics in my graduation, but I had doubts I'll be able to do as well in economics. So I took. It turned out to be a good selection. It may not. But you have to very carefully select the subjects which you are interested in and which you think you can score well. So those, and when it comes to applying for universities in the US, because there was a specific question, don't just try to get the best universities. Apply broadly, Shantanu says, because there are matters of luck. There are different policies of universities in different years. You may be very good for Harvard, you may be, but that year you may not get. And it's not that you get into Harvard, you'll necessarily do well in life. Vidyasagar, the great educationist Vidyasagar, when he didn't get into presidency of Calcutta University, his father said, don't worry, the university you will get in will become the most famous. And later we have a Vidyasagar University. He was such a great person that a university was created in his name. And the third, so manage your time, manage your work, and finally manage your mind. Some of you have already said that. Don't panic, be calm, keep your diet. So he mentioned them. He mentions make time for your social interaction. We shouldn't get so much into a cocoon that we completely forget anything else. Our friends, folks, family, nothing. Stop going to weddings, birthday parties, games. No, don't do that. You need to have a balanced approach to life because you will face much greater pressures when you're actually working in an organization, whether as an IAS officer or bank officer. So you must be able to manage your family, your time, your work, your interests, everything. Secondly, as some of you have already said, he further emphasizes it, take proper sleep. Sleep is extremely important. Don't do those type who work 20 hours a day and hardly sleep. Very bad. You will likely fail in your exam. And if you succeed, you'll burn out. Proper exercise, don't forget, and proper diet, as one of Shelley, I think, had mentioned. Then this is very important. When we get into a competitive mindset, sometimes we become very selfish. We only think about ourselves. We try to get as much help from others, but we don't help others. That is very dangerous. Not only you as a personality, because finally, even if you pass the exam, but you're a horrible person, you will not do well in life. So you need to have a helpful attitude. Help others where you can, and you'll get help from others as well. So don't take it as I must beat him and therefore I should hide everything secretly. No, be helpful. That creates a positive mindset and also attracts people who will help you in return. And in the same line, he says, be happy when your friends succeed. You have a study group and you found that two of those study group have got the exam, you didn't. Don't feel sad because there's luck, there's preparation, there's karma, God knows so many factors are there. They have done well, be happy for them. And maybe they'll become your mentors tomorrow because they knew how to crack the exam. So negative mindset doesn't help in any way. And he ended up by saying, and which I fully agree, some of my best friends did not do well in this competitive exam, but they succeeded in other fields. And here I'd like to link you back to my brother Bikram's talk when he talked about, applying for colleges and all. He says, many times in my life I failed, but later I found that what I did turned out to be much better than what I was planning for, perhaps. Perhaps, he doesn't know, he can't compare. So failing, when one window closes, one door closes, other doors open. So don't think that simply because it was an ambition to get the IAS or the foreign service or something you didn't get, your life is miserable. In fact, now I think, had I got the IAS, I wouldn't have been able to survive the stories that I hear from Shantanu, I heard with the politicians. I got into INDS where there are no politicians, and now I'm working in a field I'm so excited about, which I wouldn't have got there. So as Steve Jobs said in his commencement, or I think some address to a university, you can't connect the dots going forward. You connect the dots looking backwards. So sometimes later you realize what happened is happened good for you. So keep that positive mindset. So these are the things I could gather from Shantanu. Is there anything I missed, Shantanu, some important point which you'd like to add on, or something I misrepresented?
I think there was a question from Seth, and I think Shelley also had a comment. So maybe, I have to go in about 5 minutes. So yeah, maybe we can just take these two.
Yeah, do that. It's in the chat. Do that.
Sir.
You want to take it up? Oh, yeah, Saif. Yeah, you have raised your hand. Yes.
Sir, my one brother lives near my house. He failed too many times. Not because of not studying, but he is studying from first. If the annual chapter is from 6th chapter, then he will learn from chapter 1 then to 6.
So the point you're making is not clear to me, Saif. Shantanu, you got the point?
Yes, I understand the point. So, that when we study a subject, it keeps increasing over time, right? The amount of knowledge you need. And I remember when I used to take my class 10 board exams, I would feel unprepared if I didn't review the whole syllabus the day before the exam. So this can become more and more challenging as the amount you have to study keeps increasing. So I think this is the challenge Saif is saying, that if the exam is going to be on chapter 6, his brother needs to study from chapter 1 to 6 to prepare. So I think the way to deal with it is, first, at the conclusion of every chapter, every topic, test yourself to make sure you're fully confident in that topic or chapter before you go to the next one. As you go to the next one, check how it connects to the first chapter or the previous chapters, so that you're making that connection even as you go forward. And then I think you will find that if the examination is on chapter 6, by the time you have you're preparing for that exam, you have learned chapter 1 to 5 so well that you don't need to prepare the whole thing again, right? So it will be the same for all your competitive exams which have a syllabus. Mastering each topic, connecting it to the next is very important. Connecting it to the next will help you get the bigger picture in mind. So I think that's important, Seth, and that may be something other students may also find useful, so that you're not reviewing the whole syllabus the day before the exam like I used to do, which I think was a complete waste of time. And I think, who was it now? Shelley asked a question about GPA and college essay. So these are, US universities look at many things apart from the ones I mentioned. Now, class 10 GPA, does it matter? There are two schools of thought. One is that it should show consistency over time. So you've been doing well. But another approach or another aspect also is, if you've not done so well in class 10, but you show a big improvement in class 11. And maybe that can be a subject of your college essay, why you really improved so much, what you learned. they will like to see that. And they will like to see that you actually drew a lesson for your life from this experience, and that this big improvement you made will help you in the future. So I think sometimes in the Indian system, we use words like brilliant student, always first, and things like that. You don't have to be always first. You don't always have to be always brilliant. But if you show that you're learning and progressing, that itself is a big sign to a US university and also in general. So my final comment will be on this college institution, on this coaching classes. I remember when I got a good grade in the civil services and got selected to the IAS. A number of coaching institutions and competition magazines actually showed up saying that, can you please say that you took the lesson from us? And allow us to put your photograph and we will pay you.
Oh my God.
And actually some of my friends, nobody over here, of course, not you, Pritam, but some of my friends who had done well in the AIMS exam or JEE actually said, okay, why not earn some extra 3,000 rupees and allow them to use our name? So just to emphasize, coaching institutes give you a lot of benefits, but you can do the same thing on your own.
Thank you so much, Shantanu. You said 90 minutes is too much. Well, obviously it was not too much, as you can see. And there was a lot of interest and very few students actually dropped out today. I'm amazed. So fantastic, reflects well on the session. Shantanu, thank you very much indeed for immediately agreeing to this in spite of your busy schedule and the tension, not only of Donald Trump, but also of the corona going on in US, very terrible state of affairs. So I hope that we will be able to call you back on matters of other interests. You're working in sustainable development. I think that's a fantastic area where children need to be aware. They're already very aware. They need to be even more aware. In fact, our second talk was on environment, the second talk in this series, bringing that. So thank you very much, Shantanu. We are much obliged. I will pass it on to the principal to give the final word of thanks. But before that, may I request the students to give a round of applause? Please, if you could give him on my count, 1, 2, 3, if you could give him a round of applause. Some are giving digitally, no sound. Thank you very much. Leslie, over to you.
Okay. I'm not very good at this because I just say thank you and that's it.
I know.
Down, you know, their career in life. Some of them may not have understood the importance of it, but they will. So once again, thanks a lot, Shantanu. And we need to keep
everybody, this was a great session. I think you guys know what to do and how to do it. If I could give you a little guidance in how to prioritize, then I think, you know, that would have been great enough. You all have very successful lives. Thank you so much. And I look forward to chatting with you again. Over.
Thank you, Shantanu. And Shantanu, please stay back for a few minutes. We have a little